Well, hello. I've got Neil and Jocelyn Rowcroft here all the way from West Africa, Niger. They are missionaries we support at church and members of our church as well. And so it's great to have a chat with them tonight.
Hi, Luke. Hi, congregation. It's lovely to be with you for this little time.
Hi there. We've enjoyed being part of your online church service. Oh, not part of the service, but we catch up with the sermons after the event each Sunday.
Yeah, awesome. I say night, but it's actually morning for you right now.
That's correct.
That's right. We just had our breakfast.
So for us, it's about 5:54. What time is it for you?
8:54.
Yeah.
That's why you look so refreshed and I look so exhausted.
Something like that.
Very good. Well, it's really, really special to see your face and to be able to get you in front of our congregation and just hear about some of the journey. I guess a lot's changed since we chatted face-to-face last. There's been this small thing, I think you've heard about it, called coronavirus, which has impacted the whole world at the same time. And so it'd be good just to hear a little bit about how it's affected you in Niger.
Yeah, well, it has. It's come later here in Niger. As you may be aware, the African countries have been a little bit later in it arriving, but it certainly is here in Niger. We've had something over 700 cases, 800 cases now. But here in Galmi, we've only had a few suspected cases and one or two confirmed ones. The biggest impact for us has probably just been in setting up. Since February, we've been preparing the staff and the hospital for the arrival of the virus here. And so that's been a long process. We've also been preparing because we've had to close down our outpatients department and elective surgeries in accordance with government requirements of not meeting together in groups, that in gatherings, that sort of thing. So that's had a big impact financially on the hospital, and we've been really encouraged by people's giving to the hospital to be able to keep us going. We have a shortfall of something around $40,000 US each month. So around 60,000 Australian dollars each month that we're looking to make up, and so that's a big challenge for us. But God has been wonderful in providing thus far, and we look forward to His ongoing provision. We certainly have our little issues from time to time, and the last week it was a pump that burnt out, and so we, because of the varying electrical flow here from the local electricity provider, the voltage varies from somewhere around 120 up to about 250 volts, and of course that impacts enormously on some of our electrical appliances, including a pump. And unfortunately it wasn't protected, and we lost it last week. So we're waiting for a new pump to arrive, Lord willing, in the next couple of days and to be fitted.
And you can imagine the crisis that this is when the weather, when it is 45 degrees every day and it's so hot. You need water to survive. Everything needs water to survive.
Yeah, for sure. That is a big crisis, and I think crisis management is probably something you can add to your resume, Neil, being over there, and you as well, Jocelyn. Lots of unexpected things, and I think we talk about crisis, and we're all in crisis, but I think our crisis is a lot more comfortable than your crisis in a lot of ways. And I think your newsletter outlined a couple of those things. Just for those that are watching and don't know Neil and Jocelyn, Neil actually manages a hospital over there in Garmi, and Jocelyn is doing translation work and helping teach kids, and they're just reaching out to people in their community as well and doing a wonderful job. I think in your newsletter recently you talked about rats eating all your fruit and vegetables as well, so that's another small issue that's going on.
It probably doesn't rank very highly in the bigger scheme of things, but for us it was a bit disturbing to go out and have our new figs just changing colour and being half eaten by the rats. So
as well as the cucumbers and the eggplants.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've eliminated a few rats just recently, but there's a new generation coming through that we've got to contend with.
I think what was the hardest at that time is that we were at the end of the time when our plants were producing. And so you want to sort of try and make provision, because now it's so hot, nothing grows.
Yeah.
So for example, to see something green that you can eat is a real treat. And so, yeah, we're back now pretty much to the tins of beans that when you open them, they're a bit grey because they've been slow cooking in the pantry.
Right. Okay.
For a couple of months, so yeah, so that's why it was felt quite acutely when our cucumbers and our aubergines sort of disappeared.
we were keeping the local rat population very healthy.
Well, I saw a photo of one of them. It was about the same size as my miniature bull terrier. So
that's right. Yes.
It's worth noting, I think.
The 5 or 6 that we killed were all around that size. So.
Yeah, wow, incredible. So do you want to tell us one thing you're thankful for at the moment?
I was certainly thankful for God's provision in so many ways. Just the fact that we've been able to, we're in our 8th week of isolation, and because of our age, we self-isolated relatively early in the process here in Niger. But we've been able to get into a routine that means that we go out on the airstrip, and Jocelyn walks and I run every morning, and at the end of the day we go for a walk around the compound, and do things that in a lot of other countries people in isolation can't actually do. So we feel very blessed to be able to, I suppose, look after ourselves physically a little bit in that respect. My office has been sort of translated into our home, and that's worked really well. I've got full access to all of our system in our admin building, so that all of that is working really well. And I basically do a full day's work from here at home. So obviously we miss the human connection, but immensely. But other than that, certainly in terms of the way things are set up here, it is working really well.
Yeah, I'm very thankful that really I can see God's timing in allowing us to stay here, because they've been one crisis after another that had to be dealt with, and with Neil being here, he's been able to really step in and help out to sort the crisis. For myself, I'm just amazed at the way God has sent me translations to do. I do translation for SIM International, and they're in the process of preparing a prayer guide. And so I receive translations to be done sort of every 3 days. And then I have other people who send me things like protocols or newsletters to translate or things like that, which means that instead of being bored because, you cannot communicate with the local people because they don't have internet, I know that at least I can do something that is being useful. So God's provision in so many different aspects of life has been just mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
In 8 weeks, Luke, I don't think we've ever thought, I'm bored.
No.
Boredom hasn't been an issue here.
No. The days actually go by very quickly. Yeah,
wonderful. Yeah. Well, I'll ask in a minute just some things we can pray for specifically, but is there anything else in particular you want to share with the Follow family?
Look, I just want to come back to God's provision, and I think God really gave Anne-Sophie as our chief medical officer and myself and one or two others a really strong sense that we needed to keep our staff intact. One of the key findings coming out of the Ebola crisis here, and of course I wasn't in Africa in those days, but when the Ebola crisis hit Africa, one of the key findings out on the other end of that was that the people actually, there were a lot of deaths and suffering as a result of non-Ebola sickness. In other words, everything was so focused on Ebola that other people just died from other sicknesses and illnesses. And that's one of the reasons why we're really keen on keeping our staff of about 220 people intact here. Many of the other non-government hospitals and agencies, institutions generally, have actually had to release staff and lay off staff. And we've really had a vision, I suppose, of not doing that, and are very committed to that vision, because we know that in July, August, when malaria season starts, we want to have a full contingent of staff here on the ground. Otherwise, we simply won't be able to cope. And we won't be able to meet the needs that are here. We struggle in a normal year. We struggle to meet the needs of, literally thousands of patients coming to the front door with malaria. So, it's all of that, I suppose, post-pandemic, or even at the end of the pandemic, Lord willing, where we know that we need a full contingent of staff here. And being in a remote location, if we lose staff, it's always difficult to re-recruit staff. so that's
especially Christian staff.
Yeah, that's a point for prayer. It's a point for thanksgiving that we've been able to maintain our staff, but it's also a point for prayer that we're able to continue to do that and keep our staff intact here.
Yeah, awesome. And we can certainly pray for that. And I should have said this at the very start of the interview, but congratulations on being grandparents again too.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're looking forward to the time when we can hold our little Elsie in our arms.
Yeah, so Jerome and Karina are obviously your kids, and little Elsie was born just recently, so what a blessing. And none of us have really got to meet her yet because we're all in isolation, but we're all looking forward to seeing her. But I'm sure you feel that strongly over the other side of the world, but at the same time have a real sense of joy that she's born safely and things are going well. So that's great. Excellent. Well, I might pray for you now, and then we'll finish the interview. But let me pray. Dear Lord Jesus, just want to thank you so much for Neil and Jocelyn. Thank you for the precious people they are. Thank you for the sacrifices they've made to leave relative comfort over here in Australia and sell up everything and move over to Nigeria to serve the people over there, and to work in the hospital, to work with translation. And Lord, we just really pray for your continued blessing on them. Pray that you continue to strengthen their marriage in isolation, and that you watch over their physical health and give them real wisdom as they lead in their different areas as well, that they would make decisions that would honour you and that would be good for both the patients and the people working at the hospital. And we just want to rejoice with all the good things that have happened, the way that you are providing. We want to rejoice with the fact that they're grandparents again recently. And we want to pray that you continue to help them to keep staff on board in the hospital and to prepare well for what's going to happen after this pandemic. And so we thank you for them as part of our church family. And even though they're not with us in the same country right now, Lord, they're still part of our family and a very precious part. And so I pray that they would feel that love and that support. And as we continue to support them in many different ways, that they would know that they are dearly loved by us, and most of all by you. And so we commit them to you now, and we pray it in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
And I just add one little thing that I would like you to pray for, and that is that we would be really led in the time when we go back to Australia and how we get there. Because we were supposed to be in Australia, but then with it comes another challenge, and that is that once we are in Australia, well, there's a few more challenges, but once we are in Australia is, number one, is where are we going to stay? And how long for? Because while the virus is rampant everywhere, we may not even be able to come back to Niger. So, and with it sort of means that the hospital would not have a director, or only an interim director. And the other thing that comes, which is a bit in the same line, is that normally we welcome so many short-termers in Galmi who come and help us during the malaria season, but often they are people of our age or our age group. And for them, it's a big risk to take to come. And how is that going to be possible at all? Or if they come, do they have to do a quarantine, or we do not know. But we know that every year we've relied on them to be able to survive with the number of patients coming to the hospital in the malaria season. Yeah. And so really that is in God's hands. We just do not know how it's going to pan out. Yeah. But that is something to pray for.
Yeah, well, there's so many question marks at the moment, aren't there, and so many unknowns.
Yeah.
What we do is we have a God who's faithful, and so we need to keep trusting in him. But hey, it's been so great seeing you and chatting to you. We love you dearly, and we'll keep trying to look after your son and daughter-in-law, and we look forward to when you're back here with us. But thank you so much for chatting today.
Thank you, Lou. God bless, and greetings to everyone, and our love to everyone.
Bless you all. We love you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for the chat.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.